begin with, I'd like to welcome you all to this Order2Cash webinar. This is me, I'm Damien Leslie. I'm the marketing manager here at Anachron, and I oversee all global marketing activities here for the company, both for the company's own activities, but also for those of its main product lines, Order2Cash and Invoice Portal. We're scheduled today for around 45 minutes, so that should give us enough time for the main presentation and, like I say, some room for questions at the end. And our brief agenda for today includes the common concerns receivers have when it comes to e-invoicing and how we can tackle them, best practices and different channels of communication you can utilize with your customers, the importance of customer segmentation, and I'll also highlight a couple of case examples from other Anachron and Order2Cash customers to showcase how they've been able to onboard their receivers effectively. First, let's take a look at a common B2B e-invoicing setup. In many cases, an e-invoicing project resembles a classic many-to-many B2B situation, and this should be familiar to most of you. On the left-hand side of the diagram, you essentially have a company that wants to send electronic invoices to its many customers. This said company can be split into a number of different business units or particular different labels or brands. So, and they'll be using an e-invoicing solution like Invoice to Deliver platform, which is available as part of the Order2Cash platform, and they'll want to deliver invoices to their many receivers or customers who you can see on the right-hand side of the diagram. And so what at first may seem like a one-to-many situation, so one company wanting to invoice their clients, can in fact turn out to be a many-to-many situation, even when it's one organization that's running a project. But whether your situation is one-to-many, two-to-many, or many-to-many, it doesn't matter. Moving ahead with an e-invoicing project illustrates that there's a need and a desire to create efficiencies across your own business processes. Your organization will be aware of the benefits e-invoicing can bring, both from cost and time savings through to accelerated payment timetables, reduced DSO, day sales outstanding, etc., and more. And sending invoices electronically may be something that you've decided is the best option for your business. But what happens if a receiver says, nope, sorry, not interested? Then first you need to think about the different reasons behind their reluctance. So we'll take a quick look now at some of the most common concerns that we hear voiced from different receivers. And you might realize that most of these may also be familiar. If you've led an e-invoicing project within your own organization, the chances are you've been required at some point in that process to persuade internal stakeholders that making the switch to e-invoicing was the right decision for your business. There, you may well have encountered similar concerns to what you'll hear from your receivers. So, fear of change. People are comfortable with their own working methods. Sometimes, no matter how inefficient those processes may be, people would rather keep doing things the way they are doing because that's the easy way and it means they don't have to change or adapt to anything. And often we run into contact with people who actually expect that handling electronic invoices will actually cost them more time to process and handle than the paper ones they receive today, because they're just not aware of how the real process works, and they think it's going to be too complex. One of the most legitimate concerns and barriers we see for businesses, and in particular kind of SMEs, is that in some cases there are supplier fees and other hidden costs involved with using e-invoice networks like Tradeshift, Ariba, etc. And you need to be aware of those, because in some cases there are even costs for receivers as well as senders. And a common one is that there's simply no scope or support within their own internal organization for switching the current technical infrastructure that they have to a new solution. So these are all common concerns, but to be honest, they're easy to deal with and easy to combat if you're using the right kind of invoicing solution. And before we look at particular methods of engagement, there are a few things that you can prepare both yourself and your organization for in advance of your own onboarding project. Firstly, you'll want to take stock of the different invoicing options that you can make available to your clients. Different e-invoicing solutions have different capabilities, so be sure to check which options you can support immediately and figure out the range of flexibility that you can offer your customers. Second, and just as important, is to prepare your own internal stakeholders. There are a number of departments you can involve in your onboarding project, and you'll need their help if you want to maximize the results. Thirdly, and really importantly, you need to know your audience. So all customers aren't equal. You'll have bigger customers, smaller customers, problematic customers, loyal ambassadors who are really keen on your products and services. They're all different, and you shouldn't treat them equally either. And finally, you need to figure out the most appropriate and effective methods of communication for each of your customer groups. So the goal should be to try and communicate with clients in the way they want across the channels that they prefer. So let's take a look at each of these preparatory stages in turn. So first, offer a flexible and adaptive e-invoicing solution. I won't give you a big sales pitch here because that's not what this webinar is for, but I'd like to quickly highlight our own invoice to deliver application as a good example of how having a flexible e-invoicing solution can arm you with a range of tools for combating your receiver's concerns. Also, I'm aware that in attendance we have a mix of people who are current Anachron and Order2Cash customers and those who aren't. So I want to try and make things as clear as possible for all of you. So I'll just run very briefly through a few things. So Invoice to Deliver sits at the core of our Order2Cash platform, and it's been developed to enable you to invoice customers anywhere, at any time, in any format or via any channel that they require. And no matter how large the volume, Invoice to Deliver gives you a single portal from which to oversee and manage your entire invoicing process. To get up and running, we make a connection to your existing ERP system or business application. And you can see this on the left-hand side of the diagram. And it doesn't matter whether it's SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, or another tool, it really doesn't matter to us. We've built connections to over 700 different systems, so there's more than a good chance that yours is included in that list. Unless you're the only company in the world using a specific custom-built application, then I'm pretty confident that the connection can be made pretty quickly and efficiently. And once that connection is made, then essentially you're up and running with our system because we pull all of your invoice data directly from your ERP system. But where this solution really works and provides key value for you is that you can then deliver invoices in multiple formats across multiple channels to all of your receivers. And you can handle 90% of all tasks direct from the dashboard with just a few clicks of the mouse. So if you look to the top of the diagram here, you'll see just some of the range of delivery options we support. Although we would love every invoice to be sent digitally, we know that in some cases it's simply not possible, and there are customers who are simply unwilling or unable to process e-invoices. So no matter, we connect with a range of global print partners to help you deliver paper documents as well, and you can rest assured that an electronic copy of every single invoice sent via our platform is archived in our system. Your archive is available and accessible not just to yourselves, but to the recipients of any invoice, and we store everything for 7 years to cover any legal storage regulations you encounter. Now, 7 years is a standard, but we have cases where it may need to be extended for one reason or another, so on request we can do that. On the electronic side, which of course is important for any invoicing solution, you can send invoices via email with a PDF attachment, via mobile. You can make them available within the portal for recipients to download, or you can upload the direct into the customer's ERP system as well. And one of our key strengths is that we also offer senders the chance to send and deliver invoices across a range of roaming networks. And by this, I refer to the ever-growing number of B2B and B2G invoice networks. On the B2B side, you have stuff like Basware, Ariba, Tradeshift, Tungsten Network, and so on. And on the B2G side, there are a number of governments, particularly in the EU, but we're noticing more elsewhere as well, that are mandating e-invoicing, and they have their own preferred platforms as well. So examples include PEPAL in the EU, AFACT and FASE in Spain, and Digiport in the Netherlands. And we're currently connected to over 20 different networks, and our Invoice to Deliver customers can send invoices immediately across any of those channels, saving you the time and cost of having to build and maintain those connections yourselves. And at the bottom of the diagram, you see we can easily add other Order2Cash solutions into your platform, including payment services, credit scoring, credit management, that kind of thing. But going back to the topic of this webinar, what you should understand is that having a flexible e-invoicing solution can help you to deliver efficiently to any number of customers. You can also satisfy their own demands by being able to deliver invoices in the format that they want. And anything that makes it easier for them to conduct business with you will make it easier for them to pay you. So it's a win-win situation. But in preparation for your onboarding project, you need to make sure you know the full extent of the options available to you, and be sure to let your customers know which options are available to them. So you need to gain the support and make allies with internal stakeholders. Maximizing the impact of your e-invoicing project requires much more than just selecting an invoicing tool, switching it on, and pressing send. In order to prepare your receivers to come on board, you need to put your troops into action, so to speak. Your onboarding campaign will need the assistance and support of a number of internal stakeholders if it's going to bring results in quickly. And the first team you really need to have on your side is marketing. And there's a reason that Anachron have asked me to host this webinar, and that's because essentially your onboarding project is a marketing campaign. So get your marketing team on board if you have one. Make this a project that they can run, or at the very least assist you with. Your marketing team will know your customers, they'll know your company's messaging and values, and they'll also know different ways that can help you to communicate with your audience most effectively. So use them. This is the kind of thing they're there for. And of course, in some businesses, you may not have a large marketing department to call upon, or even any marketing specialists in some cases. So I'll try to highlight some ways in which you can begin to think like a marketer and put together a campaign workflow shortly. But aside from marketing, get your sales and account managers up to speed, because they'll be of use, and of critical importance will be your service desk and support teams. These are the people that will be able to provide expert advice when customers have questions, and they'll also be your first line of response. And finally, you need to get the approval of management, and I'm talking here not just about upper level management, but legal and contract management. They need to be involved, because you need to make sure that your terms and conditions are updated to handle the e-invoicing, etc., etc. So make sure that you clear any internal roadblocks before you start, as you may run into stuff along the way that you want to get you get bogged down with. So if you get everything approved and made a priority at management level, it can make your life so much easier. Okay, now it's time to think like a marketer. So the first thing you need to figure out is who are your audience and who are your customers? What do they look like? What do they act like? What are they interested in? How do they work? You need to know who your targets are and what influences them. And the best way of getting to grips with this quickly is to segment your customers and segment your customer base into different target groups. Segmentation really is key. I can't stress that enough. And if you divide your entire customer base up into different target groups, then you'll be able to focus your messaging much more effectively, but also help you decide which customers you should concentrate your time and effort upon initially in this project. One of the things we always advise here at Anachron is to approach your e-invoicing project in phases. A phased approach will allow you to concentrate your efforts onto the groups that will bring the most reward in first. Segmentation is the key to that. But how do you segment? Well, you can do this in any number of ways, but one of the most effective and simplest methods is to simply look at how much business you do with them. Now here is a very quick example of customer segmentation. It's nothing complicated, it's just 3 groups, kind of basic example, but you can segment in any number of ways. Here I've just basically looked at how many customers do you send over 100 invoices a month to, for example. That could be segment 1. They're your larger group of customers, your larger customers. How many do you send between 50 and 100 a month? They can be segment 2. And then what we have, the long tail customers at the bottom, who you do kind of infrequent business with, but they still kind of bring the money in. So in the majority of cases, you probably find that you have fewer customers in total in your main segment, in segment 1, as they're your larger customers, than in the others. But actually, they bring in most of the business. And this is a pretty common result amongst most of our customers, if not all. And so it makes sense to use this as a guideline, but you can segment your customers in any way, like I say, that makes sense for you and your business. You just need to think of the criteria you want to judge them on. So concentrate your first campaign efforts on those customers that bring in the most revenue to make the most initial impact on your onboarding project. And if you persuade those customers to switch to e-invoicing first, you'll instantly make a massive difference to your bottom line. Now, other options for segmentation that I've noticed our customers using can include geographic location. So some of our larger customers are rolling out projects across multiple territories. So they've looked at ways to segment by country based on demand for e-invoicing, for etc. You can also look at customers that are high maintenance versus low maintenance. Whatever, it's up to you. Just pick something that makes sense. And once you've sorted out your segments, then you need to think about how you should communicate to those groups. Now here are some of the key and kind of best practice methods and channels that we suggest you use, not just that we've used in ourselves, but what we've noticed our customers using as well. Now, your company is probably already communicating with its customers, or at least it should be, but you think about the different ways in which you do that. You've got invoices themselves. Make room on your invoice template to add a marketing message. You can stimulate their attention that way. And you can write to them either by email or mail, or inform them of your desire to switch to invoicing. And you may also have regular client newsletters that you distribute. Now, these are an ideal platform for communicating with your customer base, so use them wherever possible. Now, you're not inventing anything new here. It's just stuff that you should be using day in, day out. So just add little messages into it just to kind of make people aware that your project's going on and that this thing's about to come. It's very simple, very easy to implement, and very quick to bring results in. You could also create a targeted online presence, as I like to call it, but essentially that means creating different landing pages on your website that are focused on the benefits of e-invoicing, not just for doing business with yourself, but what it can bring to their business in total. And you can outline the reasons why making the shift can help their business as well as yours, and showcase how this switch will make it easy for them to conduct business with you. And in return, they'll get access to or delivery of your products and services quicker, etc., etc., etc. And you can use social media and mobile to promote and attract people to your landing pages. There are different ways in which you can use online tools to kind of make people aware that your project's going on. Telemarketing is something that you take note of, because it can be particularly useful for your long tail clients who aren't responding to emails, etc. You can just give them a call and use a telemarketing service or your own customer support team to get in touch with them and quickly determine whether they're interested in switching or not. Your customer support and account management teams can also host regular training sessions and webinars and use them to illustrate the values of the project. Your customers already rely on your support team and they trust them, and that's a really key, vital component of making people kind of comfortable with making a switch. So they can be great allies in your onboarding campaign. And finally, you've got your account management and sales teams. They can make face-to-face visits with your key accounts if you want to add a personal touch or give specific kind of on-site training to particular key accounts. So the real kind of top customers who you want to get on board quickly. And it's all about selecting the right methods of communication for the right segments. You won't want to use all methods for all customers because that would be too costly, both in time and money. But instead, you want to strategize your campaign to focus on different methods at different times for different groups. Emails and newsletters you can mail to all, and in some cases that may be enough, but you may want to add trainings, webinars, and other online tools for certain customers. And you may want to call other groups, and again, you may want to make personal visits to others. It's up to you. The point is, you choose what's right for each group, and whatever it takes to get the message across and bring them on board, do it. If you plan your campaign properly in advance, you'll see the results come in. And now I'll try to quickly walk through a couple of examples showing you how you can schedule a different campaign to run utilizing different methods of communication. So here you have a segmented group of customers, in this case, say the largest key accounts, those that you conduct most business with. But how would you begin with them? First of all, just send them an email. In that email, you mention that you're making the switch to e-invoicing and you want to know if they're interested in receiving e-invoices. You can highlight a couple of key benefits for them and their business, and in the email you provide a link to a landing page. So then you can look at, did they open and click? There are different marketing tools that you can use that your marketing team may already be using, but there's also stuff like email blast programs like MailChimp, which I'd recommend, and there are even some Outlook and Gmail email plugins that you can use that can kind of show you when people open and click on your messages. Those tracking options are really interesting and really give you a kind of good insight into how your campaigns are performing. So I'd recommend you look into those. So yeah, if they open, then you basically send them through to a landing page. On that landing page, you give them some kind of information on the project, some of the key benefits for moving to e-invoicing, and you could ask them to sign up for a webinar where you're going to give a training session on it. But what if they don't click on that? Then you could basically resend the email to them. So wait a week, resend the email, hopefully they'll click on it the second time and bring it through. It's basically, you can do that as many times as you want and kind of keep pushing them through the flow, but obviously don't spam them too often. But if they click on, they sign up for the webinar, then great, host the webinar, have a training session with them. But if they don't, wait another week, send them a second email, this time with a reminder about the webinar with the sign-up form included in the email. Then if they register for that one, great, hold the webinar. If they don't, maybe leave it a few days and then give them a call. So you know they're kind of interested, they're aware of it, but you're still not sure if they're that interested. Giving them a call can just help you to see if they're really ready to make a switch or not. for all of those, once you've gone through that process, you can send them the training PowerPoint or the slides that you presented in the webinar afterwards as a kind of follow-up. But wait a minute, what if there are certain members within that first segmentation that you wanted that you don't want to bother with all of this, you just want to do an on-site visit straight away? Like I say, your really top accounts, send your account manager over, get them face-to-face, get a team internally there together in that institution, present the project to them, and then hopefully you'll be able to sign them up. And for those who you called that still weren't interested, maybe there's a couple of key accounts in there that you want to give an on-site visit to as well. The hope is at the end you all get them to the same stage where they're all kind of trained, they're all ready, and then you can send them through to support for onboarding. So essentially what you've got is a kind of multi-stage campaign that kind of guides people through different methods and gets them all to the same point. And the similar kind of example on the long tail side of things, you can send them an email first. This is going to be a much shorter kind of workflow. But here, if they don't open, resend the email again. If they do, you've got a landing page. This time you already embed a tutorial video which gives a quick overview of how you get set up, and you put a sign-up form where they can sign up for their details. In most cases for e-invoicing, all you need is a name, a contact, and an email address, and then they can be up and running. So do they sign up? Yes, send them to support. If not, you can give them a call, try one more time. If not, well, you can send them another email reply, but essentially you can basically hope to get people, as many people through to your onboarding support team. Motivation. What are the key messages that you can use to persuade your receivers to come through? You'll know the reasons that your company decided to make the switch to e-invoicing, and most of those reasons will probably be valid for your receivers also, namely streamlining business processes, reducing the payment cycle, creating greater efficiencies, etc., etc. In Invoice to Deliver, you can handle disputes right within the platform, so dispute management is something that you can kind of add into this list of things. It's easier to manage, it's easier to go. And with they can receive invoices in any manner they wish, whether it's print, electronic, PDF, EDI, etc. Highlight the 24/7 availability of your platform, and in particular, if you highlight the fact that they can have a complete archive of all their invoices online for the full legal requirements. You can, of course, highlight the substantial cost and time savings involved with e-invoicing, not just direct costs like manual effort required to open and process envelopes, etc., input data into business applications, but also any indirect and hidden costs that there may be. And don't forget the reallocation of labor. So if staff don't need to spend as much time on menial admin tasks, they can concentrate on more valuable endeavors. You can mention the significant sustainability benefits, of course, from reduced carbon footprint to reduced paper usage, etc. And last but not least, having an electronic archive means that there's no more missing invoices. This can be a key thing for, you can see what was sent, to whom it was sent, when it was opened, when it was processed, and provide a fully transparent billing process for both sender and receiver. One of the other things that some of our customers are using are actually incentives. So different kind of rewards for joining an e-invoicing program. Many have offered the option of a small discount for anybody who accepts e-invoices, which seems to work well. Some have gone for a slightly more negative tactic and are charging extra for any invoice sent by print and post. And customers don't seem to like this, so often it works as a deterrent and forces them to switch to e-invoicing. We've had customers offer prize draws for customers switching. In fact, one lease company in the Netherlands last year offered a large US-style barbecue set, for example, and that campaign seemed to work really well, I must admit. And some of our smaller customers have even offered small gifts to each and every customer that agreed to switch. Of course, these are just suggestions and you don't have to do them. And of course, I'm aware that in some countries, particularly Germany, you're not really allowed to give gifts of any kind out. So again, they're just suggestions. Just use what works well for your audience in whatever location you're in. So in summary, I've just outlined a quick onboarding project plan. So if we just go over the steps we just covered, firstly, audit the full scope of your invoicing solution. Are you offering enough flexibility to your customers? It's important to know what you can't offer as much as what you can. 2, segment your customer base. It doesn't matter how you do it, but break your total client base down into manageable groups. 3, motivate your internal stakeholders. Make this project a priority. 4, decide on your rollout approach. Plan your campaigns to each segment, create the content you need in advance, and then activate your campaigns. 5, determine timelines and deadlines for each stage of the project and keep on top of it and stage regular reviews and appraisals in order to discover what worked well and what didn't. And finally, put your plan into action and bring your customers on board. And with clever presentation and preparation, you can achieve great results with a thorough onboarding project. But if you do need some help or advice in planning or executing your campaign, then get in touch with us. We're here to help where we can. After all, if you onboard more customers, that's a win-win situation for us as well. So it's in our best interest as well to help you with this campaign. So some of the things we can help you with include drafting emails and distributing them. We have generic templates you can use as a starting point to adapt to your own needs. These can be delivered across different channels as well. We have a system in place for handling mass email distribution, so we can assist you in rolling out your messages to receivers. We can build custom landing pages for your target groups, and we can create sign-up forms and other content as well. We also have our customer support features, which include a detailed online support section, which you can use either as a standard or if you've got a white label one, use it as a basis and then kind of tweak it to reflect your own service details. And then we also have our service desk as well. But if you want help with the planning and overall campaign project as well, we might also be able to assist you. So just discuss your requirements with your account manager or your sales rep and find out where we can help. For those of you that aren't customers of ours already, you may be wondering why you should choose to work with us. Well, essentially, we've had over 15 years of experience in corporate e-invoicing. We're one of the leading players in Europe, and we're gaining more and more market share in the US and beyond. We're a rapidly growing company, and our services have been cited on numerous occasions by people like Gartner as class lead and pure play providers, etc. And last year, we were voted one of the coolest tech companies in the Netherlands, and our scope of operations is expanding. We empower the work of some of the world's leading brands already across a number of different industries and sectors, and our Order2Cash solutions can support almost any business, no matter what the size or scale of your operation is. Our solutions are truly cutting edge. They offer the best-in-class functionality and flexibility, and we have one of the largest interoperability networks currently in place. We're connected to more channels, and you can deliver invoices across more networks. It's very easy to do business with us. Our hosted Order2Cash solutions require only a single connection to your ERP and you're up and running. There's no real IT commitment necessary because everything's hosted. All our white label offerings enable you to fully customize a portal, which obviously is a much bigger project, but you can reflect your own branding, keep control of your total look and feel and your own methods of working as well. And our Order2Cash platform is essentially your Order2Cash platform. You select the features and functionality you want, and you build your own solution. The majority of clients use the invoice solution as a core, and then add payment functionality and credit scoring, credit management on top. But essentially, you can tailor your own solution as you see fit. So if you want to know more about Order2Cash itself, the invoice to deliver solution, or anything else, just drop us a line, get in touch, and you can mail me directly using the marketing address. If you've got any questions about onboarding campaigns, you can. I'd be happy to talk through your projects with you, but if not, this session has been recorded, and I'll make a version of that available to you, and I'll also send you the slide deck I've used as well. So thanks for listening so far. I hope you found it useful, and if anyone's got any questions, please let me know.